Hello, it is World Bipolar Disorder Day. So I thought that I would show up here live and talk to you about bipolar disorder type 1. So I've written this book, Beyond the Label, 10 Steps to Improve Your Mental Health with Naturopathic Medicine. It discusses my healing journey from the labels. And I'm just going to do this one more time so you have a chance to see it. Maybe I shouldn't be so quick to pull it down. Outlines my journey from recovery. And this is a really important piece because when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 1, I was not given the opportunity, the impression, the suggestion that healing was possible. And I still feel that this is the case when people walk into offices for help with healthcare professionals. They are not met with the possibility that healing can happen for you. So the 10 steps, and what I explain in the book, is that there's 4 aspects to you as a human: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And the physical level is where most people are operating. So on that, we want to recognize there are 3 macro systems within you: neurotransmitters, hormones, and organs of detoxification. And I'll just throw in the immune system there too. Okay, so if we talk about root cause medicine, or precision medicine is a term that's being discussed nowadays, or individualized, we really want to look at this physical level from those macro system perspectives and decide as a clinician, which macro system do I need to support? And the thing is, it could be all 3 of those. In my case, it was all 3: neurotransmitters, hormones, and my organs of detoxification. I won't go into the specifics on those because I will be on here for several hours and I don't have the time today to do that. But you can pick up a copy of the book. If you're wanting to dive even deeper than that, I have a patient program. Feel free to check it out. But what I really would be encouraging you to do, if you're somebody who has been recently diagnosed with depression or anxiety or bipolar disorder or an eating disorder or ADD or OCD, I would really encourage you to add a naturopathic doctor to your healthcare team. I think it's foundational, and in my dream world, we would be first line medicine. We would be the first line before you saw the Western docs. And I think that it would be nice if we worked together to help patients seek healing. But I digress. So now we've discussed the physical level. Now, how do we support that further, though? I've mentioned the 3 macro systems, but the way you're going to support them is we're going to look at nutrition. Right over my shoulder here, I broke out the mental health diet that is in Beyond the Label as the appendix. I broke it into a separate book. It's a roadmap for you to follow from the nutrition perspective, because we want to make sure that you are eating the foods that will help you make the neurotransmitters and the hormones that you need to feel good. And this was so important in my journey, I had an eating disorder that I wasn't talking about to clinicians, mostly because I wasn't disclosing and I wasn't forthcoming, and also because they weren't asking the right questions. They weren't asking me about what I was eating. So it's very important to be able to, as if you're the patient, to be forthcoming, because the doctor cannot read what's going on between your 2 ears. You have to communicate. And you have to, in order to do that though, as a patient, you have to be willing you have to be met with safety from the clinician. So if you don't feel that you're going to be heard or met with safety or met with compassion, then it's very, in my own case, it was very difficult for me to disclose the truth of what was going on with me. Unless you asked me a direct question, then I would have answered you, probably. So anyhow, my point is that nutrition alone will take you very far in recovery. In my own case, though, I had a lot of cracks in my nutritional foundation. And so I was shoring up the holes, if you will, with supplementation. Now, my job and goal as a clinician isn't to out-supplement you to death. That is not really the ultimate goal. However, you have a choice. You can take a pharmaceutical or you can take a nutraceutical or a botanical equivalent. And it makes more sense to me to think about the body from the perspective of what does it need to build itself? What's the raw material that my body needs to make what it needs? And so anything I put into my body is going to inform it in one way or another. It's going to guide it to making something, or it's going to use resources because my body's got to get rid of it if it's essentially not useful. So be thinking about that with every decision you make around what you're going to be putting into your system. Now, food is very controversial, and it shouldn't be, but it is. And keep in mind that there are powerful industries behind everything, behind the products that are on the shelves, behind influencers on the Instagram here telling you to do this or do that, or this is follow my way, do it this way. I keep it pretty simple and straightforward. And ultimately, you want health autonomy, and you want to be able to make informed decisions that are best for you. So nutrition is a big, huge piece. My next book is really about the eating disorder journey because it's just a sidebar sentence in Beyond the Label. Beyond the Label, it's really about the recovery from depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. So on this day, on this World Bipolar Day, my offering to you is Beyond the Label. You can download the first chapter from my website. You can get a copy from the library. I am really not here to sell you anything, but I'm here to encourage you to take responsibility for your life and your health. And when you do that, you can heal from those conditions that I've just named. And that's really the message today, that healing is possible. So I talk about 10 steps. And the first step is nutrition. The second step is we have to really dial in our sleep. And the next step is movement, moving your body, getting outside, off of devices, ideally in nature. That's a very important piece of the puzzle. The next piece is stress management, which is really divided into the next steps, which are looking at your thoughts and your emotions and how you behave and react in the world, your ability or inability to set boundaries. All of that we'll take a look at and encompasses this word trauma. Because your thoughts are essentially beliefs, and your beliefs are formed from your experiences that you have. The thing is, some of the beliefs that we form are designed to protect us from the pain of the past, but they may not be serving you in this current present moment of your life. So I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering type A overachiever. And the belief that was driving my behavior was that I am not good enough, that I am not worthy, that I have to keep striving and trying harder, jump higher, do all the things to please all the people to prove that I have worth. And all of that stemmed from this faulty belief from learning that I was adopted. So I made that mean that I wasn't worthy, and so therefore had to prove my worth. But the truth of the matter is, I'm worthy, you're worthy, because we simply are here. There's no needing to prove anything. You're here. And that is worth enough. That is the only evidence that we need. So this stress management piece for me has been really the journey for the last, well, goodness me, I'm almost 60. So for the last 60 years, and it's the biggest piece. I started with the physical level and I did really well until I bumped up against my thoughts and my inner critic and my negative core beliefs and this overachieving part of me, this driven part. And so it took many months of years, years of introspective, deep work with therapists. So I have additional training in 6 types of therapy that I incorporate, that I talk about in the book, and that I incorporate with my patients. Why? Because the mental, emotional, spiritual piece of the puzzle here, in my opinion, it's 75% of the healing journey. So the physical level, there's lots you can do there. Don't get me wrong. And do that work. It is necessary. It's a bi-directional relationship between the gut and the brain and the brain and the gut. So all the work is required. All the work is required. Every step, every stone, every stepping stone needs to be walked on and investigated in your life. And when you do the work, and when you investigate and heal and do the suggestions that are offered on every step, I believe healing is possible. So I just wanted to come on because it is World Bipolar Day, and I feel that many don't get this message that healing is possible. And the thing is, it is a journey. Okay, I didn't just go from being unwell with bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, and an eating disorder, and OCD, ADD tendencies. I didn't just go from that to optimum health overnight. This has been a journey. Healing is not linear. Life is in the transitions, and we are constantly transitioning with each breath. But each breath presents an opportunity for you to make a different choice. So my heart goes out to you if you're recently diagnosed, and if you know somebody who's struggling with their mental health. I would encourage you to offer them a gift of hope. Send them this video if you like. And let's spread the message of possibility, that when you're able to get the supports around you, to have the right professionals in your corner, that you will be able to feel better. I mean, this is really ultimately the journey that we're on. So the last steps then that I'll just complete this conversation are, so basically just to recap, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical level, 3 macro systems, neurotransmitters, hormones, organs of detoxification. We're supporting that by looking at the 10 steps: nutrition, sleep, exercise, stress management, looking at your thoughts, your emotions, how you behave and react in the world, your ability to set boundaries, the environment from 3 perspectives: quality of the air, food, and water. Remember that there can be chemicals that block receptors, so you might make neurotransmitters and hormones, no problem, but they can't get into the cell. Typically, we look at mental health conditions as a deficiency, right? You're not making enough of serotonin, norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine, glutamate, whatever the neurotransmitter may be. But perhaps you are, but you got a bouncer blocking the door. So the environment is important. The next thing under a step under the environment is epigenetics versus genetics. I love to say, look, genes load the gun, lifestyle pulls that trigger. Okay, I'm adopted, so I couldn't look to the left or my right to verify the truth of this genetic statement. So I don't subscribe to it. I don't believe that genes are my destiny. I believe that epigenetics are the destiny. And the third piece under the environment is this concept of neuroplasticity, which means your brain can change. You can think new thoughts. You can create new neural pathways. Very important. The next step, the 9th step here, is compassion and spirituality. And the 10th step is love, wrapping everything up in this concept of love. Not only love for the other, but love for yourself. Not from a place of ego, but from a place of compassion. All right? So this was a very difficult step for me. Very difficult to factor myself into the equation from a compassionate, loving perspective. Listen, I've tried to take my life many times, and I can tell you that I was not loving myself when I was thinking those thoughts. So this is a call for love. It's a call for self-compassion. When you're down and out, it's really important, and it's very hard when you're down and out, because all you see is the down and that you want to be out, right? You don't see your value, your contribution, your worth. And this is where we need each other. We need each other. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now if I didn't have the support system that I had. And I get it. Not everybody has a support system. But therein lies the problem. Why are we a society that isn't supporting each other? So my hope for today, for this World Bipolar Day, is that you will, if you're somebody who has judgments against people who have this condition, that you learn to understand, you seek to understand them. And if you're somebody who struggles with this condition, my hope is that you will seek solitude, safety, and support from a naturopathic doctor. Because healing is possible. And that is my message. So thank you for listening, sending love your way. Happy World Bipolar Day.